Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at the Convergents, a superhero-themed card game on Kickstarter right now. This is a game in which you and a friend will go head-to-head with constructed decks in order to beat each other down and decide who will remain victorious in Slab City. Or, if you don't like going head-to-head, or you just occasionally want to have a co-op variant, or you want to play a one versus all game, they also have an optional variant mode, the Cosmic Threat. Also, you may have noticed I'm kind of into superheroes, so this is a genre that's very near and dear to my heart. So we're going to see exactly how it feels as a superhero game and also how it feels to play. So let's take a look at the Convergence by It's in Our Nature Games on Kickstarter right now. First off, everything starts with a team leader and objective. Not only do these define your team's basic powers and life total, the objective is a victory condition that you and only you have access to. How you build your deck and what strategies you take during the game will be greatly determined or even entirely based on these two cards. Once playing the game, players alternate actions, either passing, moving, or attempting to claim locations and doing battle, which is where it gets really exciting. Choosing when to defend a location or not has huge strategic importance because you might want to save your cards and precious resources for another battle. In battle, players play face-down cards, commit resources, then simultaneously reveal those cards. Order matters. Starting with the attacker, players alternate resolving the effects of each card in line. The tension involved in selecting which card to use in which slot is gut-wrenching. From there, the game is just trying to collect resources, secure locations, and fulfill whatever's on your objective, or doing enough extra damage in battle that the surplus applies to the team leader of the opposing team. If you either meet your objective or drop the opposing team leader to 0, you win the game. The solo co-op 1v all Cosmic Threat add-on thingy works similarly, but your team doesn't have its own objective. Players have to meet 4 sequential objectives, mostly through winning battles using limited cards, resources, and turns, and it is brutally difficult. While the automated system is fairly easy to manage and flows pretty well, it scales in a way that makes it easier the more players that are facing off against it. Alright, so my days of playing high-level tournament play, LCGs and CCGs is a thing of the past. That's something for 2004 Jack Eddy. 2017 Jack Eddy, well, he really just wants to sit down, play a game, bust it out from time to time, and have a good time. Convergence does have the ability for you to do that, especially with the cooperative mode against the Cosmic Threat. But what this game really wants is for you to play high-level tournament type of play, a meta system where you and your friends all know the capabilities of each other's decks and are building decks around the decks that other players are building. That's the kind of game that this is. It is so exciting when you reveal all your cards, flipping them over and having that feeling of, oh my god, I should have played this card, or, oh yes, you fell right into my trap. This has really exciting moments. I also really like that it has a sort of board gaminess to it where proximity matters. As you're traveling across Slab City, not only does it make it feel more thematic and less abstract to me, but it also really gives more tactical decisions instead of just having the best deck in play. Now, as I said earlier, superheroes are kind of my jam. In the case of the Convergence, they managed to come up with some really interesting ideas that when it does feel like it treads a little too close to the heroes that we already know, it feels like it's either subverting or paying knowing homage to it in a way. I like that about this. As with any property where you're coming up with such a huge quantity of characters, you're going to have some duds in there. I'm looking at you, Goth Boy and Rainbow Scout. But on the other hand, there are also some really awesome characters that you just want to know more about their backstories, which is the entire point of superheroes and comic books in the first place. Like, I want to hang out in a seedy bar with Koi, or go to a rave with Shadow, or maybe I'm going with the Daimyo to assassinate an emperor, or I might be listening to Bob Seger with Superdad here. No matter how you slice it, they did create a very diverse range of characters. And not just diverse as in the powers, which are interesting, but there's a diverse cast of race, color, ethnicity, and gender in here, so you got a good mix of all kinds of things. Sometimes it plays a little fast and loose with cultural stereotypes, but then again, that's what comics have been doing since the 1920s. So is the Convergents right for you? Well, it has great artwork, it has a really cohesive aesthetic to it, and mechanically, I think it does some really interesting things, especially the location-based movement, competing over those locations, and man, the battles are exciting and treacherous. Like, it is thrilling when you flip over those cards. Now, I also particularly like, as far as deck construction goes, the objective system. It gives you a lot to consider and a lot to play with when designing your deck. The real deciding factor on whether or not this game is for you is going to come down to two things. First off, how do you feel about the 90s gritty, not your dad superheroes comic look of the characters in Slab City? And two, how dedicated are you and your group going to be to this game? From deck construction to knowing what to play in battles to even how to take down the co-op cosmic threat. This game relies on you knowing what the capabilities of your opponents are, and that's only going to come with playing again and again. This is more of a lifestyle type of game, and that's okay. If that's what you're into, then this may be a game that has great meat on its bones to be the next driving thing for you and your group to get obsessed with. So that's the Cardboard Herald's first impressions of the Convergents, which is up on Kickstarter right now by It's In Our Nature Games. If you have questions about the game or what additional thoughts we had, you can go ahead and let us know in the comments below. We're pretty active, so we'll go ahead and respond to any of that. So thank you so much for watching the Cardboard Herald's first impressions of the Convergents.